has chosen the Celtic Cross spread for your general monthly reading, which is perfect for this setup since it looks a little bit in the past, a little bit in the future, but focuses the most on what is going on right now. It is also the only spread that I do that devotes a card and a position to the environment. So there is likely something around you this month that Spirit wants to bring your awareness and attention towards. And that is what we're going to do today. Welcome in, Aries, to your Celtic Cross for February 2024. We're going to dive right into it. At the beginning of your cross, you and all that you are and what crosses you, the first two cards, represent you and what is on your mind right now. And what you are, they show a lot of you are really concerned about finances or health. More than likely, it's not going to be both. So I got some of my Aries who are worried about finances and money, getting their money right, saving money, saving up for something, budgeting, right? Others of my Aries are worried about something health, improving their health, adding something to their life, like an exercise program, maybe removing something like diet related, getting something out of your diet. Okay, so we got a split between Aries and finances and health right off the bat. And they're saying if a lot of you have neglected one of these things. So your job in a general reading, right off the bat, you probably have a good idea what this is. It's going to be one or the other, more than likely not both. Okay, so that is the main focus of where we enter February. Now, what crosses you? What's on your mind about this is being a little bit too tied down into things. You got to have some flexibility. You got to be able to like what you're doing here, like these changes, whether they're financial or health related. If you don't like it, you're not going to do it, Aries, and we all know that's true. And that's what they show here. So you got to really like what you're going to do here because it is very bonded to you, but it can't be too much, okay? Like I said, you got to have the free amount of movement here so it's not too constrictive, okay? You still got to be able to be you. And that will help you figure out if, hey, this budget is for me, this 401k plan, this money market, this stock market investment, this diet, this exercise program, this surgery, whatever it is, you can figure it out if this stuff is for you or if it's not. And that based on how free will it make you feel? How free will you be from doing it in February? That is our beginning of your cross, okay? There we go. Powerful start. Now, Aries, there was no major arcana card there, but there is major arcana cards all over the rest of my spread. And those are big themes, huge themes. It's Spirit's way of saying, hey, this is, you got to really drive this home. It's a big deal. Very bad about specifics, though. The specific information is kind of withdrawn from the major arcana. So they're letting us know big deal in February for a lot of Aries, but the specifics are kind of elusive to us. So best time for me to remind you that this is a general reading. We have a lot of you Aries tuning in here. I love you all. However, nothing beats a personal private reading, information that is all about you and not all of your Aries friends. And that is available on scottsagent.com. You got messages, you want messages that are just to you, specified just to you, your energy only. I have a big variety of services from small all the way up to full service. Whatever you're looking for is there, guys. As we move into your past position card, this is something that is the recent past. So depending on this could go far back or it could go just a couple weeks back. It's really hard to say, but either way, it still has an attachment onto your February because it's still coming up. So this is information that is not known. This is the unknown. This is the elusive, the knowledge library, so to speak, or the wisdom is not being provided to you. So it's basically saying in the past you didn't know the whole picture about something. And maybe you never will. I'm not sure. But this is obviously a concern of yours, or bothers you, or lives around in your mind rent-free at the very least, right? Now, what to do about this? For some of you, they're also letting me know this has something to do with knowledge, like accumulating knowledge too, like college coming in blocked. Like, you wanted to do something, to learn something new, and it wasn't the right time for it, maybe something like that. So it is a wide scope. But angel therapy comes in with my Oracle Angel card. Also, since I talked about the major arcana cards, guys, if you want to look at these pictures, I post a picture of this entire spread before I start moving things around and making a mess on my table. You can find that on my Facebook page if that's something that interests you. So when I talk about my angel therapy card, you can see my angel therapy card. It says, Angel Therapy, give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. So it's basically saying, hey, we can take this monkey off your back. You don't got to worry about it. All you got to do is just pass it off like a torch. There you go. or a baton, okay? Relay race. So just hand it to the angels. They got you, okay? Don't let that past affect your February, guys. Not worth it. As we move into your near future, Aries, it gets a little icky, a little weird with relationships, future of relationships. So this is, they bring in relationship harmony with my Angel Oracle card. And on top of that, I have the Moon card. So that's letting me know the correlation between the two. So when I say relationship harmony, this could be a relationship, don't start barking at your partner over this. It may not be about them at all. This could be about a close friend. This could be about anybody close to your heart. This could even be like an old friend of yours that you just got in a really big disagreement with, and it has something to do with that. Or maybe this is, one person in the family and not your romantic person at all, okay? Or maybe it is. It's hard to speculate, but it's the Moon card, so they're basically saying that a lot of you Aries are moving into an era here where you're not going to get the full picture. Just like in the past, you didn't know the full picture. Well, here again in the future, they show that things are just weird, mysterious, a little foggy at times, so you're not seeing things necessarily clearly. And when this comes up, Spirit is letting you know that that's okay. You don't have to see the entire puzzle to figure out the puzzle. It helps, it helps us make the best decisions possible. But I always give the example, it's like when you're driving on the road in, a heavy rainstorm or heavy fog. Do you stop driving? I guess if it gets really bad, you do. But most of the time, you just keep going and you just work with the information you have. So you're taking, the next 15 to 20 feet at a time. That information comes, okay, I'm still good. I'm not going to, run into anything. I can see my next 20 feet. And you keep doing that until you get to where you're going. That is what you need to do here in your future with this relationship harmony they talk about. In the card, it says, we angels are opening our hearts to everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. So despite the fact that you're not seeing the way things are working out, they are. And you have to trust that they are. The angels are working with you here in relationship harmony. Let's move to your above position. Another angel card up there. Your above position is letting you know something you're already aware of. I have my Chariot card, which is transportation. So a lot of you traveling this month, moving around, airplane, car rides, that kind of stuff. Chariot can also be about really needing to be tunnel visioned a little bit here. And they're in this position, they're saying you already are aware of this. So I'm not telling you anything new. You already know that you need to get focused on something. You have one focus, one area of interest, or one thing that really needs the energy right now. And everything else doesn't. Okay, so stop putting your energy all over the place. And this is the focus for February. Maybe that changes later, but for right now, they bring in moon cycles. Well, we're going to talk about that later in your reading. We're going to do your runestone moon cycles and your homily, which is a little spiritual pep talk done by me at the end of your reading. In this case, I'm going to be wearing full rain garb. You'll see why when we get there. But moon cycles, it says, notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. So we're going to be talking about that in your moon cycles. We have a super new moon coming in February. It is the best time to bring new things in, guys, in the year. It is one of the peak times for new things to add to your life. So whether it's the new finance thing that we talked about at the beginning, or bringing in a new financial, or bringing in a new health. This is a great month to implement that, using the moon cycles toward this purpose. As we get into your bottom position, guys, this is something you're not aware of. I love this position because now I am telling you something you don't know, something brand new, bringing it to your awareness. They talk about doing things the right way. The card of purity, taking care of your people. It's the Hierophant card, so he's like the pastor of his congregation. You're taking care of your family. You're taking care of the kids, the pets, the neighbors. For some of you, you know what I mean, like the whole bit. And what you need to do here is you need to do things by the book. You need to do things the right way. There can be no toxicity here. Very important. They bring in patience too, so that if you read between the lines, Aries can be a little impatient in February. Maybe stuff is going to happen in February that brings up that feeling, brings up that emotion, but you don't have to act on it. You can use a little bit of discernment, especially after hearing this reading, be like, okay, that's what Scott was talking about. I am feeling a little impatient about this one thing. And I remember I have to do things the right way. I got to take care of my people. I got to not cut corners. I can't allow toxicity into the situation. So there you go. You have everything you need right with that piece. Probably your whole spread was about that. Very important. So remember to come back to that in case that doesn't happen right away in February. Maybe that happens at the end of February and you're like, oh, shoot, what was that thing he said again? I'm going to have to go back and check that out again. Number 7, guys, this is excellent. This is what I want to see. This is what I love to relay to you. In fact, It is the best card in the tarot deck. It is my sun card, my golden energy. We're going to throw some Aries, golden, Aries, rams all over the place here for you guys. Shower you with this golden energy for the advice. So what they're saying here is that you guys are starting to figure it out. You guys are starting to understand why things have happened the way they have. Okay, so you're starting to understand why the puzzle looks the way it does. Has nothing to do with the fact that it's incomplete or very close to completion, depending on what stage you are in life, where you're at. Your understanding, which is the key here. It says in the card, I am bringing you esoteric symbols, information, and helping you understand spiritual truths. I pay the most attention to just spiritual understanding. So you guys are at a higher place of growth, wider perspective, and that is the advice, is to zoom out on things. Look at the big picture of things, Aries, especially in February. Next up, your environment, guys. Environment comes in as an injustice. I have my justice card flipped around, reading as, not the best deal for legal things. If there's any kind of legal things that are in your bubble in February, pay close attention to that. Anything you sign, contracts, even, buying a new car, pay attention to that small print. Pay attention to what you're signing. For some of you, this could also be like a traffic ticket, running a stop sign. Be careful of stuff like that, guys. Your environment is coming up that something like that is pertinent for popping up in a kind of a negative light. Now, what Spirit says next is very important. It says you are safe. Okay, so this is not something that is like dangerous. It is just maybe something that is more of like a nuisance, an annoyance, something you don't want to deal with. So your environment is showing that. So just be careful of, police type of stuff. Be careful of contractual type of stuff and any kind of legal stuff, challenges that might be happening to you in February. If you are one of those Aries, be super careful about that, because that's looking a little iffy right now from my side of the table. Next up, guys, we get into number 9. Number 9 is hopes and fears. Fear is what they talk about is like issues with the family, issues with the home, issues with the environment at home. A legitimate fear to have if something has not been going well at home. You haven't been getting along with maybe the kids. Maybe you got some teenagers who are being very combative. Maybe you got, a very ruly spouse or significant other, or, it could be a variety of different things here, but they show the home environment kind of upside down, and this is a fear of yours. So it doesn't necessarily even mean that it's happening, but you want to kind of make sure it doesn't happen. At least from a fear point of view, I want you to turn this into a hope. I don't want this to be a fear point of view. I want you to be like, you know what? I just have a feeling. I just know things are going to work out. I don't know how they're going to work out. I just know that they will, and I trust my ability to deal with whatever comes up here. And that way you don't live in a state of fear and you end up attracting that fear. We're going to talk more about this with your homily, because we talk about expectations in this episode of your homily. We wrap up, guys, with number 10. Number 10 to conclude your month. A lot of you have an event on a block. This is usually a positive event. An event is something out of the ordinary, something that doesn't happen all the time. Maybe it's getting together with an old friend of yours. Maybe it's going to a party, a wedding, some kind of ceremony, right? So an event of some form coming in blocks. So maybe it's coming in later, or you're finding out about it in February, but it's actually in March or later time this year, something like that. So it's letting you know that it's coming later. That's how February wraps up, really. Not much else to say about that. But there is something very important we got to wrap up with, which is called your runestone, guys. And we talked about this earlier. So they gave you a perfect runestone because it correlates to your reading. It's the rune of protection. Where did we talk about protection before? Well, we talked about it the most, not just angel therapy in the past, but we talked about you are safe in the future. Not just the future, but the environment. So they're saying here that you are protected. You have protection around you, your loved ones. In the card it says, I'm protecting you against lower energies, guarding you and your loved ones and your home. So they're letting you know you're safe there in your environment. So a lot of you Aries feel vulnerable, feel like you're not safe. You need to be a little cautious and conservative. And here Spirit is saying, actually, you're okay. We got you. You're good. You're protected. So there we go. Good runestone to wrap up your reading with. Now we're going to jump into those moon cycles, that super new moon I kind of alluded to, and wrap up with your homily, which is me in raincoats. Okay guys, it is moon cycles forecast time. Let's talk about these lunar energies that are all around us anyways, so we can use it to our benefit, implement some positive change into your month. Well, the first thing you need to understand is whether these energies are coming in or going out. Just like the tides, the moon has control of that. In the same way, you can use it too. The first thing that hits chronologically this month is the new moon. You're going to see all the text information on your screen, any rare occurrences, as well as the date. Now, this is a target date for the new moon. It doesn't have to be done on this date, guys. I really like to bracket a few days before and a few days after to get a very powerful week where you can bring new things into your life and really manifest. If it is NEW, it's not there before, brand new, this is the best time to bring it into your life. Something new financially, maybe something new with work, new love, new health. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's new, this is the best time of the month to work on these things, really help bring it in. Adversely, the full moon, the opposite energy, the energy going out, hits on this date on your screen. And of course, the same rules apply. It doesn't have to be done on this date. We're talking about a week window, a few days on each side of it here. When this energy is very strong going out, and the energy going out is the best time to get things out of your life that don't belong there or that you don't want there, something that's got control of you or hold of you that you don't want. Maybe something like a bad habit, maybe emotional baggage, a bill that's got to go. That would be something financially, maybe something with health, maybe an eating habit that's got to go. It doesn't matter if it's got to go. The full moon is your best bet to get this change to stick. If any of this has confused you, I've put together a moon cycle cheat sheet. I do it every single month. It is free. It is on the website, guys. You can check it out very easily. It is a little graphic illustration, a tool that you can use so you can kind of see these changes moving in and moving out, so you can align things in your month to it to really get them to stick, implement some great positive changes. Now let's get into your homily. Hello, friends, and welcome into your homily, February 2024 edition. My name is Scott Sagent, and the name of this homily this month is Don't Let It Rain on Your Parade. We're going to be talking about managing expectations here, good expectations that we might be too high on, expecting too much from, bad things, expecting bad days, and how we can get way too low on that, finding a nice middle ground here. The first and very most important thing to start with is that us, as human beings, we are just prediction machines. Our mind is computing and processing a whole bunch of stimuli every single second of every single day, trying to figure out what's going to happen next so that you can be in the right present moment, making the best decisions for you at that time. So just like if you come up to a stop sign and there's another car, you're trying to figure out, both of you guys are really, who's going to go first, who's going to do what you're trying to figure out what they're going to do so you don't crash into them, right? Same thing if a stranger walks up to you, you're trying to figure out, analyze the heck out of it as quick as you're not even realizing it's happening at this point. It happens automatically, but you're trying to figure out, is this stranger coming up to me? Can they be trusted? Are they a good person? Or are they going to rob me? Okay, so we're doing all these kind of things all the time, all these computations behind the scene. And as a result of all that, we come up with expectations, our version of the future, whether it be a good event or a negative event, doesn't matter. We're creating these expectations all the time about what we expect to happen. But here's the thing, a lot of times these expectations do not happen. Never happens at all. Or maybe they're not as good as we want them to be, or as bad as we would like to avoid. So let's get into a little bit of that. Now, I like to look at this with a frame that I call the 5% rule. So let's take a good example first. Hey, you're going to Disneyland, you're going to a theme park, doesn't matter which one, pretend, okay, you're going to have the best day ever. Your expectations are way up here. You're like, yeah, I'm going to meet these characters. I'm going to get to go on all these rides. I'm going to, live out my childhood dreams and just have a great day all the way up here. That's what you're expecting, okay? And that's fine. Maybe it'll happen. But there's only that 5% rule, the 5% chance that you're going to get to the tippy top of what is actually going to occur. Stuff happens, stuff goes wrong. And if you're up there, that 5%, well, the reality is that you're going to be somewhere in that other 95% range, which is way down here. Okay, so even if it's a good day and it's up here, it's like, well, I didn't get to go on all the rides I wanted to go on. I got to go on half of them, but there's on the other half, and the lines were too long. Or maybe down here it rained all day. They had to shut down some rides. It didn't work out at all for me. That was not what I was expecting at all. So anywhere off of your top tier of what you were expecting before is going to be a letdown. You're going to feel that very deeply in you, like, something is just not really good. Not a good feeling, not a good emotion to have. Now let's look at a negative one. Same rule of fives apply. Hey, you got to go to a dentist appointment. And this is going to be one where you're expecting a procedure to happen that is going to be a little painful, a little bit of uncomfortness going on, and you're just not looking forward to it. Okay, so your expectation is like down, down, down here. I'm not sure if I'm off the camera, but I'm pretty low down here. So anyway, the same 5% rule applies, guys. Same 5% rule. It's usually not as bad as you expect it to be, the bad things, okay? You're going to be in that 95% range somewhere else. So, hey, you get this procedure done, and okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. That didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. Maybe it was an uncomfortable hour and a half. But you know what? Now, that was up here. That wasn't that bad. Now I can feel like that weight is lifted off my shoulder. I got that out of the way, done and checked off my list. So it's the rule of the 5%. Now, what do we do with this information, right? Now, a lot of people say, oh, you just got to eliminate the expectations. Just get rid of them altogether. You don't need them, right? We don't need to have expectations about what's going to happen, whether it be good or bad. Well, that's a utopia. That is just not realistic, since we are human prediction machines. We are always trying to figure stuff out, and without expectations, that would leave us with nothing to ever look forward to. And of course, it's okay to look forward to something. You just got to manage this. So let's talk about how we manage these. Giving those two examples that I gave you earlier, let's go through both of them. The Disney World, having a great time, expectations up to here. Hey, you know what? Let's bring the expectation into middle keel. You know why? Because I expect that I'm going to have fun no matter what happens. Because at the end of the day, it is not what happens to you. It's what you do with what happens to you. It's the decisions you make. So if you go into the day thinking, hey, you know what? I'm going to have the best time possible with whatever situations and circumstances come up. I'm going to make sure that this is a good day. Okay, so you're up here and you're nice and good. That's managing your expectations for the good. Now let's talk about managing the low side. That dentist appointment, that painful procedure, that cavity filling, that root canal, whatever it is. Okay, well, what do we do about this? You tell yourself, hey, you know what? It might not be that bad. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to check it off my list, and I'm going to put it behind me. You're going to attack the day in a much more middle keel. And the likelihood is you're going to hit that 95% either way. So it's all going to work out kind of more in the middle regardless. Nothing is ever as bad as we expect it to be. And usually nothing is ever as good as we expect it to be either. And that's okay, because we're managing expectations. Of course, this doesn't always come naturally to everybody. Sometimes it does take a little bit of practice and implementation to lower these expectations, or at least manage the kind of middle ground, that 95% range of both sides of things. But the rain will come. It always does. The challenges in life will come. Nothing ever works out like we intended to, whether it be too good or too bad. And the good news is that puts the power back in your corner, because again, it is not what happens to you. It is what you do with what happens to you. You remember that, you'll be in great shape, guys. So that is going to conclude your homily for February 2024. Do not let it rain on your parade, guys. I'm telling you. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed the reading. Please remember to like and subscribe so you see the future readings. Have an excellent February. I know you will.
So I guess the fortune teller's right.